Hey folks, welcome all. Thanks so much for joining this month's Tech Talk. We are going to be discussing an AI approach to help speed up the modernization of your legacy application. It's something that's been coming up with our team for a very long time now. I am Joe Rafanelli. I am a Director of Technical Solutions here at Innovatix Technology Partners. We're AKA Macrosoft, if folks maybe remember that. We remain the industry leader as a premier migration services company. So we've rebranded to represent a historical milestone in the company's current and future identity. The change is not merely cosmetic, but it symbolizes our strategic shift towards innovation, AI, collaboration, and transformation as core drivers of growth. I'm super excited here to be introducing my colleagues. We have Imran, who's been on very much past Tech Talks. And then we have Danish. He's new to the Tech Talks, but he's part of Innovatix Technology Partners as a technical lead and is making an impact on many new initiatives, obviously using AI. He will share his knowledge. He will be our SME today. And I'll say it again, that this is a reoccurring topic that we get all the time, with our business. I want to thank Danish for being here, and I want to thank Imran for being here. We're going to dive into it, and we appreciate your expertise on this topic. So as usual, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with a decent amount of questions, get these guys warmed up, right, in terms of what we're going to be talking about. And then I'll ask the audience to see if they have any other comments or other questions. So we'll get started right now. So let's start with the basics. So maybe we'll start with Imran here. How is AI helping migrate legacy applications faster with better quality?
Thanks, Joe. So artificial intelligence is transforming the way we build and modernize softwares, while the magic button for instant migration is not exist yet. AI is significantly accelerating development cycles, improving code quality, and reducing manual efforts. At Innovatix Technology Partners, we bring deep expertise in legacy modernization, from understanding and analyzing complex legacy code to mapping it into the modern architecture using our proprietary tools. With the integration of AI, our teams now perform these transformations faster, smarter, and with higher accuracy. In today's session, we'll focus on the AI-driven processes, methodologies, and the tools that we employ to modernize legacy applications. We'll demonstrate how technology and intelligence combine to reshape the software transformation.
Thanks, Imran. Great opening. So that's fantastic. So what approach are you taking when you apply AI to migrations?
We leverage AI across three key stages of our software migration or modernization process, which starts with the estimation, then the development/migration, and testing. Today's talk is more focused on the development, so we will talk in detail about the actual development of the migration section. We take two main approaches for this thing. One is AI-aided migration, and another one is full application redevelopment. So let's talk about the AI-aided migration first. In this approach, we do not use a tool to migrate the application completely, but what we do is we use AI tools that assist our teams in converting large portions of the legacy code, and it lay down the groundwork, define mappings, write stored procedures, different models, and it completes the work based on all the UI, the screens, migration, and up till the CRUD operations. But it accelerates a lot. The way we do is basically we select the chunks of code, other modules, migrate it through the tools, and then plug it in the main application. The other approach that we use is the full application redevelopment. again, it's based on the legacy application to legacy application, what application is candidate for the which approach. In the full application redevelopment, what we do, we understand the application, give the screens to the tool, it gives us the modern UI, and then we ask it to develop these applications and the functionality behind based on our defined architecture. And the AI tools is giving us all the complete modules basically that is just plug it in. And it requires a very, very low effort from the developer side. Both approaches comes with their, first thing is when to use, where to use, and how much to use. And then it all have their pros and cons as well. I'm a little bit discuss on the pros and cons. So um, in AI-aid migration, it's faster. Uh, it's very fast. I mean, to migrate the chunks of code, and it gives you the code as it is written for the architecture that you are targeting. It is not basically every code is a different code. Of course, lower the cost and reduce the business disruption because everything depends on the speed that you are going with, and it also simplifies the migration process because it is doing the same. It is migrating the same code basically style for every other modules. When it comes to you know the full application redevelopment, it is faster. It is very fast, very accurate, but it also requires verification of the whole application. There, it consumes some time. So both of these approaches are working very effectively for us. We are applying in our migration projects, and they are both giving us a lot of time saving and efficiency and quality in our migrations.
Yeah, that was great. I like the way you broke it down between the aided migrations and the full application redevelopment. You said the key word, speed, right? So folks want the speed, they want the quality, and it looks like both approaches will give them that. But it looks like the redevelopment one will actually take a little longer because you got to do the deep dive on the application itself. But that was very helpful. I appreciate you putting that together. Okay, so let's continue. Can you describe what tools you use to complete the migration?
Right. So primarily, we are using Code Auto and Cursor. Code Auto is a completely developed tool that our all teams are using in their development. Code understanding, conversion of the code, refactoring, and unit test cases writing. Cursor is one of the leading AI-based development tool in the market these days. Our teams are using Cursor for developing applications and converting legacy code. All of our teams are equipped with the Cursor and expertise in using the Cursor in development and in migrations. Danish, we have Danish with us. He will walk us through how Cursor is being used in our legacy migration projects. Danish,
Thank you. Thank
over
you,
to you.
Imran. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me on this exciting tech talk. I'm really excited to be on this journey with Innovatix and a very interesting questions to start with. So the process typically goes like this. We train Cursor and build preset rules with the data that has come to us from historical projects from Innovatix. So it learns our patterns, and then we generate the front end, be it Angular or React UI, by feeding in screenshots from the legacy applications. Cursor can create modern front end components very quickly and very efficiently from them. Then we move on to backend. We generate the backend in the API code by crafting the prompts. Cursor also helps us to build the services, controllers, and all the integration points that are needed. This combination actually allows us to accelerate the development while maintaining the consistency across our projects. So we'll give you a glimpse of the process to our viewers with some demos actually. I hope you all can see my screen. So here we have a VFP app, which is used to keep employee records. So it basically has all the employee management related features like all the details. So we are going to create an Angular application to build the front end of this software. For UI migrations, we take multiple factors in consideration. including the limitations that the legacy frameworks might have, design requirements by the customers, and the coding conventions as well. So with the preset rules that we have configured for this front-end migration, we get a working Angular application uh, that replicates the legacy. As you can see, we have set up a prompt, and there are rules that we are using as project guidelines. We have feeded in the screenshots as well. So here we have as you can see, the Angular front end is right up there. It has all the relevant fields for that particular module. Now, with the we will be taking you through what happens at the back end now. So you see a detailed prompt and then some rules again attached to it. As you may be aware that the data move product by Innovatix helps us to migrate the VFP database to SQL. And then in this video, we are showing how we create the APIs that are ready to be consumed by the front end. There are the prereq obviously is to have the database migrated, and then we have the preset rules set up, which helps us to create those APIs really quickly. If you might remember, we had a very small VFP application. Pause it here. We had a very small VFP application which dealt with the employee management features. So after the migration of the database tables, we use some set of frameworks to create the basic APIs for this particular entity. And you can see in this Swagger screenshot that all the APIs are ready, and we can actually retrieve the data and add data as well. So you can just witness how quickly that process happens. So this is actually what basically a glimpse of what would happen behind the scenes in any modernization project that we work with. Where we leverage AI to help us with the back end and the front end both.
Danish, thanks so much. I know you're excited about this project and the project you've been working on with AI, and I know it could be somewhat fun for you, I can tell when we talk on calls. I'm going to shift gears for a second here. So for years, VFP migration specifically were synonymous with, relatively high cost and timeline risk. Again, we get these sort of questions all the time. So why now are we saying that it's no longer the case today?
So Joe, again, a very interesting question, very relevant question. The core difficulty in migration wasn't the syntax. It was actually the volume of the code and the necessary context switching. Yesterday's migrations were costly because it involved a lot of manual effort. Yes, we do have our in-house built products like DataMock, which I mentioned about, and CodeMock. But today we use AI tools as force multipliers. The AI eliminates the repetitive low-value work like the basic syntax translations. This actually allows our expert team to focus their time on the complex matters like architectural design and complex data refactoring. This actually shifts the economics entirely.
It's an interesting point. Appreciate you saying that. Okay. So when you mention using AI tools, right, are you generating code at the push of a button? What is your process? What's the process that guarantees quality while accelerating the speed?
So the demo that I just did, it might be a misleading one, but that push button approach is why actually many automation efforts fail. We operate on a proprietary system that we call it a standardization engine. We recognize that AI tools would struggle when they're asked to create complex design patterns or refactor database queries into modern structures. This is actually where our values lies. Our systems ensure that every line of AI generated code passes through our human defined C# type template libraries, for example, or the front end code libraries. The AI would propose the code, but our system would enforce the system, would enforce the frameworks, and that would make the output fast but predictable as well at the same time.
While getting that same quality. I know that's what you said. Okay. So let's be specific for our audience. How do you handle the complex data heavy logic on the VFP backend?
So we use a technique called contextual refactoring loops. Joe, for example, when tackling a complex VFP data access issue, which is obviously going to happen in almost all the legacy migrations. The VFP data access is often tightly coupled to the UI. We don't convert all the UI at once. We isolate the specific VFP ADMs, and as I would again go back to the example that I showed, we did it with the employee management. So we isolate the specific VFP data idioms like implicit cursor manipulations and feed them to the UI, but only for translation into pre-approved standardized data layer architecture, like our established repository patterns. We use the AI to generate the most efficient equivalent C# code, but then our engineers manually validate that logic against the original PFP business rules or any other legacy framework business rules. Particularly the often tricky database query refactoring problems, we try to tackle that through manual validations as well, because the human eye is still essential, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely interesting. Following all those steps ensures the application is migrated, effectively with the quality, like I was saying before, and all the bells and whistles that you had before, you're going to get again with the migrated applications. I appreciate you going through that. So the user interface is a huge part of a VFP modernization or any modernization, right? How do you use AI to move from legacy VFP forms to a modern web application?
Uh, Again, a very pertinent question, Joe. This is actually a massive speed gain for us with AI, and you've seen it in the demo that I did as well.
Mm-hmm.
We use AI to analyze the structure and event handlers of the VFP forms, and then map those directly to a modern component-based architecture like React or Angular. We call this component mapping. So the what happens is that the AI translates the event-driven VFP logic into state management code for the new front-end framework, while the UI design itself is sort of done by our designers team with the theme and everything. But the AI actually, what it does is it drastically accelerates the translation of all the underlying form handling logics and the work validation logics, which ensuring those complex VFP form behaviors are faithfully replicated in the VFP web UI, just like what you said, what you saw in the employee screen that I showed on the demo.
Interesting. Thank you for saying that. All right. So when AI is generating a large volume of code, how do you manage consistency and ensure the new C# code is maintainable across a large development team?
Again, a question that has been asked again and again by the teams to start leveraging AI in their development process. So what we ensure is, Joe, is consistency obviously is strictly enforced by our standardization engine, which I talked about earlier as well. This engine acts as an automated, non-negotiable style architecture validator. So the AI proposes the code, but the engine would ensure that it adheres to our naming conventions, required architectural patterns like dependency injections, and security best practices defined in our template libraries. So this actually guarantees that whether the code was written by a senior architect or generated by AI, it would give you the same consistent, clean feel, and it would be immediately maintainable by your internal teams.
It's good to know. Definitely good to know. All right. So bringing this all together for our audience, what is the key outcome and tangible business results for a client engaging in modernization project?
Joe, let me answer this question. The key outcome is certainly accelerated time to complete and deliver the project, and that's the key element of
Right.
using AI. The structured AI-aided approach allows us to reduce the timeline for the complex code conversion up to 40%. By enforcing quality upfront through a standardization engine, we remove the costly, time-consuming technical debt and unpredictability that often detail the projects. And when we go in deep in the project, it often derails us. But with the use of AI, it fastens majority of the code, which give us the time to focus on our timeline and deliver on the time and quicker.
It sounds great, guys. I mean, that's what clients are looking for. They want to move fast. They want quality. They want maybe even some enhancements. And if AI can help us, more power to us. So that was great going into the tech of all of that information. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to take a pause here and see if we have some questions from the audience, and let's see if we can even drill down even further on what these guys know here. Okay, so great. So I got my first question. So this one looks like I'll give this one to Imran. How do you handle cases where the legacy application doesn't have proper documentation?
That's a good question and very common challenge as well. In such cases, AI tools help us extract business rules and flow directly from the source code and the user screens. For example, Cursor can interpret old UI screens while Code Auto analyze database relationships. Together, they help us rebuild specification that might be missing, and that lead us to the application development efficiently.
So we're less relying on the documentation. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, question 2. What about security and performance in these AI-generated migrations? How do you ensure that these are not compromised? It's also a good question.
Let me take that. So that's an excellent question, Joe. So after the code generations, we run AI-powered static analysis as well and performance profiling as well to check for any vulnerabilities, performance bottlenecks, or any other code quality issues. We do apply manual reviews in our critical areas, as I mentioned earlier as well. Manual oversight is always needed. So AI accelerates the initial development, but we always combine it with human oversight to ensure enterprise-grade security and performance.
Definitely makes sense. Okay. Definitely still need the human intervention. Okay, what do we got next here? All right, question number 3. How do you handle the integration of the new .NET code with existing VFP components during a phased incremental rollout? Maybe Danish can take that one as well.
I can answer this question.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's a classic challenge in modernization, especially for the projects with longer timelines. Well, this depends on how the legacy application is structured and how database will be migrated. These are 2 key decisions. Well, database is the whole different topic. Let's assume VFP or legacy application which is using the same database, for example, SQL Server. For this kind of application, we first identify the key VFP entry points that must communicate with the new C# APIs. We then use our tools to quickly generate robust and temporary communication layers like a specific set of APIs, and this acts as a perfect bridge. This allows the VFP application to call the new .NET services securely and reliably, minimizing the downtime and risk during the transition.
Okay, thank you. All right. Question number 4. Keep them coming, folks. Okay, we have our own strict coding standards and a large internal team. How do you ensure the AI-generated code will be easily adopted and maintained by our developers? Maybe Danish can take that one.
So this is precisely why we have developed the standardization engine, which I talked about earlier as well. The AI-generated code, Joe, is useless if your team can't own it on day one. Before any code is delivered, the engine would force it to comply with our Innovatix C# or the front-end code template libraries. These template libraries are designed to enforce clarity, consistency, and best practices. So if your company has some sort of specific internal standards, We simply load those rules into that particular engine, ensuring the AI outputs the code that AI outputs is virtually indistinguishable from what your most senior developer would write. It eliminates the AI learning curve for your internal team, and it should give you the same feel as any senior developer or architect in your code in your team wrote that code.
Well, that's comforting. Thank you for that. Okay. Any other questions here from the audience? Okay, I think we can close it out. I want to thank Imran and Danish for their expertise. You guys really dove deep there. Hopefully, folks from the tech side really got something out of it. I know I did. The slides were really good. That helped bring everything together. So I appreciate that. And thanks for the audience. Right, you guys always come up with some great questions. If some of the questions that weren't asked or that you need other questions answered, please give me a call. You see my contact information there. We're always ready and available to talk about your migration. Always ready to give you a quote if you need it, and even just to answer any questions about what we're doing or how AI can help speed up your migration. For now, I want to thank everybody once again. Have a good day, and see if we could talk again for our next Tech Talk next month. All right. Thanks again, folks. Take care now.
Thank you. Thank you.